All right, let's go and let's make our title scene here. So we're going to go to open up this sidebar here. We're going to go to new file and we're going to make two files. We're going to make a resource and we're going to need to go to SpriteKit scene and we're going to call it title scene, and I'm going to copy that to the clipboard. You're going to see why I'm going to copy that to the clipboard. All right. So again, you need two files. So go to new file here, and then we're going to go to iOS, and you can add in a Swift file. All right, and we'll say title scene. Now, in order to make this work, we need to add in, for example, we need to essentially create a title scene from scratch. So we can go ahead and close that up here, and we'll say import SpriteKit, and it's going to be class, and I'm going to say it's title scene sk scene. And if you look at this, what we now can do is we can add in, for example, our override function did move to view. Okay, we have our override function did move to view here, and you can add in your touches began. You can add in pretty much whatever you want here. So what we need to do now is we need to add in we need to add in the items that we're going to be using here. So we're going to add in var btn play, and we're going to make that a UI button, and we're going to add in var game title and make that equal to UI label. We're also going to add in we could add in the colors here, but I think this works out pretty well. Now let's hop back down below our override function here. We'll say function set up text, and in here set up text here we'll call set up text. Okay, we can also set background or self.background color is equal to off black color. That way it'll be a black color. Okay, so let's go and let's add in the game title is equal to here, and instead of making it a UI label, let's make that equal to an SK label node. Okay, so we'll have kind of a UI button, something used in apps, and a label node. So the game title here will be equal to an SK label node, and we'll say the font name is going to be Futura. We're also going to add in the game title dot font size, and we'll make that equal to 110. And we're going to go to game title dot font color, make it equal to off-white color, and we're going to go to game title dot position is equal to CG point. We're going to say that this is the CG rect get mid X, and we'll say the CG rect get mid Y, self.frame, and we're going to add in, we could put it in the middle, but we could also add in something like 250. Okay, we're going to go to game title dot text is equal to a void. We could call it something like a void and give it like a cool name like 101. We could actually do that here, which I kind of looks neat. We can call it something like that, and we need to go to self.addChild, and we're going to go to game title. All right, let's add the button here. So we're going to go to btn play, and we're going to say that btn play is equal to UI button, and we'll say this is the frame. So you need to go to CG rect, and we'll add in a width and a height. So we'll say this is 100, 100. The width will be 500, and the height will be 100. btn play dot center is equal to CG point. So this will put it in the center. CG point. And we'll say this is in brackets view dot frame dot size dot width exclamation point divided by 2, and then the y here we'll just say is 1200. Okay. Well, let's maybe not make it 1200 here. Let's make it 600, and we'll see where that goes. Might have to play around with it a bit. So we're going to go to title label dot font is equal to UI font, and we'll say this is Futura, and the size we could probably say is 150. We're going to go to btn play dot set title. We're going to say play, and maybe not the exclamation point, but the UI control state is going to be UI control state dot normal, and we're going to go to btn play dot set title color. It's going to be off white color, UI control state dot normal. All right, and we're going to go to btn play dot add target. Now we're going to say self, and then the selector is going to be selector, and we're going to say it's play the game. And this is going to be the function that we're going to add in here. And UI control events is going to be UI control events dot touch up inside. All that's saying is that it's a fancy computer. It's fancy computer speak for you touched the button here. Make sure your brackets are correct here, and I think there was an extra bracket somewhere. All right, and that's pretty much it. So then we need to go to self.view.add subview, and we're going to say btn play, and that will add it to the screen. Before we forget, let's add in a function called play the game. And remember, this is going to what this play the game is going to be is that this is going to actually move the game over here. So we need to go to self.view.present scene, and the scene is going to be the game scene, and the transition here is going to be sk transition dot, and there's so many cool ones, but I'm going to say doorway with duration, and I'm going to make it 0.3, make it pretty quick. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to btn play dot remove from superview and game title dot remove from parent. So you can see they work similarly. Now we need to add in some code that is specific to how Xcode moves the scene. So we're going to say if let scene, or we can call it the game scene just to make it a little bit easier. Now the original code just uses scene, and it's a little bit confusing. So let's just say the game scene for now, and we'll say this is file, and if the game scene if the game scene is equal to game scene and bracket file named, and it has to be game scene. Now where am I getting this? GameScene.Swift is the one that we want to move to, so that's what we're calling. So it has to be game scene here. Curly bracket, all right, and we'll say that let the view is equal to self.view as skView. Now we'll say the view as skView, and let's take a look at this here. Just need an exclamation point. If the view dot ignore sibling order is equal to true, I'll tell you what that is in just a second here. And then we're going to go the game scene dot scale mode is equal to dot aspect fill. If you don't do this, your game looks weird. And then we're going to go to the view dot present scene is equal to, and we don't want, so dot present scene, okay, and then we're going to say this is scene. All right, now let's hop into our game view controller.swift. This is where you get this idea of changing scenes. So for example, it says SpriteKit applies additional optimization to improve rendering performance. That's what that ignore sibling order equals. Now notice how this looks the same here, except we have scene and then skview with a smaller one here. You can make it exactly the same as Xcode, but what we need to do instead is we need to make this title scene and then file named title scene. And what this will do is that this will bring up the title scene as the first scene instead of the game scene, and then we can go and add that in here. Okay, so we're getting closer to actually finishing this game. All right, this concludes the tutorial.